ever. And man, if you fail at something, at least you're trying. The problem is some people doubt themselves so much that they don't even try to do it in the first place. And what happens is we end up going back into this place, into this cave of Adullam. The problem was, David thought he was hiding from God. He thought that everything he was doing and every emotion that he had, God wasn't going to know it. God wasn't going to be able to do anything about it. And God was right there with him. In the deepest, darkest moments of David's life, God was there. We get so agitated. We get so mad because God's not doing exactly what we think that God should be doing. And I'm telling you, this is the big thing. You're never going to be able to change where you're going until you look where you're presently at. Some of you sitting here in church and you are in a... Right now as I'm speaking, your mind is going 25 different directions. When I get home today, I'm going to be out of town, so I've got to go mow the grass. I've got to get this done. I've got to go to the grocery store. I've got to do, and you know that, and I'm telling the truth. That's the funny part. I've been doing this for 20 years. That's the funny part. I know, because you know why? Because I used to be you. I used to sit in the pew, and I would sit there and think about all the stuff that I needed to do. Or I would sit there on a sunny day and look outside, and I would be like, God, I should be playing golf. I mean, everything about my life everything else was about everything but God. So here's the deal. This is where we need to be in life. And I want you to bow your heads and I want you to listen. Because I want you to think about this. I'm not going to sit here and bore you to death and talk to you about all of these things. What I want you to know is there's no reason in your life. I don't want anybody looking around. Listen, when we finish this up on Easter Sunday, some of your minds are going to be blown. Because what I'm focusing on is you and your relationship with God. Some of you worry that you don't want to come to the well because that's not where all the cool people go. That's not where all of these people go. Some of my friends go to this church, and I think I'm going to try that church, or whatever, and that's fine, man. I'm not. Look, I'm going to preach if there's nobody that shows up on a Sunday. I've done it. But so that went into the grace, not glamour thing, but I was talking about what happens inside of you and you understanding what grace is. You've not done anything for Christ to deserve what Christ did for you. But He did it anyway. Many of you have been taught that if you mess up in life, that's just God stands over top of you and He chastises you and He beats you to death. The Holy Spirit wasn't sent to condemn you. The Holy Spirit was sent to lift you up and pick you up when you were at your deepest, darkest points in life. I don't know what's going on with you today. I'm willing to bet, because sometimes, even as a pastor, sometimes I end up going and I hang out in the cave of Adullam. I worry about things sometimes. I do. I mean, it's, I worry about finances, and it's funny because everything that I ever worry about, God's already given me the answer. I worry about bills sometimes, yet God turns around and He tells me, He's like, that He owns a cattle on 1,000 hills. That's who my dad is. My dad owns the world. And the cool part about this is that when I read the quote from Spurgeon, it blessed me to realize He who created the stars and called them by name, there's not a chance He's ever going to forget about His children. There's no chance. No chance. If you're sitting here today, and I want you to listen, you got to get to the point where you quit worrying about what others think about you. I want you to get to the point in life where you even quit worrying about dying and going to hell. I talked to somebody the other day, their daughter is just petrified about dying. Man, our kids don't need to be worried about those things. There's so much other things in life. And what happens is when we worry, it just steals the joy from our life. It just sucks it right out of you. If you're sitting here today under the sound of my voice and you can say, Huey, I have absolutely no peace. Matter of fact, I'm in the cave of Adullam today and I can say this. I don't even know God. I don't have a relationship with Him. If I were to die today, I would bust the gates of hell wide open, and I know that beyond a shadow of a doubt. If that's you right where you are, just lift your hand and listen. Don't worry about your neighbor. Don't worry about the person sitting in front of you. Don't worry about the person sitting behind you. This is about you. Huey, I'm not ready. If something happens to me, I don't want to die and go to hell. Today I want to choose God, not as the alternative method, but because I know that He loves me and I want to love Him back. If that's you right where you are, lift your hand all over the building. Bless you, buddy. Anybody else? How many of you can say this? And the hardest part about all of these messages have been, many of you have had to sit back and look deep inside yourself. Some of you have had to look at things in your life that you don't like looking at. You feel like you failed in some areas of life and things like that. And so now you're hanging out in the cave of Adullam. You're just like David. You're sitting back and you can't put a finger on it. Listen to me today. There's something that David did when he went to the cave at Adullam. When he had lost his joy, when he was afraid, when he was worried about everything else. There was one thing that David did that changed it all. I want you to catch this. He came out. He got up in the middle of all the things that were weighing him down, and he walked right out of the cave. He went back and he said, you know, God's got a calling on my life. I know that I'm going to mess this up. I know it. But I'm going to do it anyway. Depression, worry, fear, anger. You're never going to be able to be happy until you move past anger, bitterness. Whether it's family, whether it's spouses, whatever, children, whatever. You are never going to be able to find joy until you get rid of all the junk in your life. And I'm talking about deeply. I'm talking about some people can't even begin to imagine what joy is because they have harbored ill feelings for so long, they don't even know what to expect from life anymore. If that's you today, I want you to listen. There's a thing, and this goes with Hakuna Matata. This goes with don't worry. There's a thing called freedom. There's a thing called freedom that completely allows you to live your life not according to others' expectations, but by what God wants. It's called freedom. It's not a list of don't do this, don't do that, you can't do this, you can't do that. That's not what grace is. Grace says, I love you right where you are. Some of you right now, when you sit back and you think about it, you are in the cave of Adullam in your own life. Scared to death. You're worried about everything. Your appearance. Where your next meal is coming from. All of these things. So today my challenge to you would be this. Come out. Just stand up and walk out. The hardest thing to do is to stay exactly where you are and forgive the people that have hurt you the most. But the neatest thing in the world is to forgive them so they don't have control in your life and allow God to take control. And when God moves in, there's this thing that goes along with freedom. It's called grace. We're going to be talking a lot about that in the upcoming weeks with Easter here because it's what this is about. As Marty comes to sing, I want you to stand up all over the building. Some of you are going to sit here and worry because some of you may be a guy sitting here today and you may be saying, I can't come to the altar because my wife's going to know that I wasn't saved all this time or whatever. Look, man, I don't care. Look, this is about you and God. It's not about your neighbor. It's not about anybody else. It's not about anything else going on in this church right now except the 110 of you that are in here, the 110 of you that are sitting here, and your relationship with God. You're not responsible for the other 109. This is you. If you're sitting in the cave of Adullam today, don't worry about whether your neighbor is or not. You come out. This is about you today. God, thank you for the Word. Thank you for freedom. Thank you for life. Thank you for finally allowing people to live and not exist. Thank you that they're starting to see the love that you truly share. I pray that you bless, and if there's one here today that needs you, Lord, that you reach down and touch him. I give you praise, glory, and honor for all you do in Jesus' name. The altar's open.
From the dust strength you shed on Thomas. The old river is what stand by and say that you prayed to me and you were faithful. I pray that you would reach out, Lord, you would touch this young lady, and you would draw near to her, Lord, you know the need of this. Lord, I pray for you real body of cancer, that Lord, that we would give you the glory, and none for us, but all for you. By your stripes, we are healed, and we claim it today in Jesus' precious name.
Jan.